Hello and welcome back to Joe's Math Tools. In our session today, we are calculating the measure of our diameter when we're given the circumference and our pi is equal to 3.14. And if you're ready to see how this is done, let's get started. So in our example today, we are using our diameter formula to calculate the measure of our diameter when the circumference is already given to us. So in this question, we're told that our circumference is 109 and 9/10 or 90 hundredths, whichever way you prefer to pronounce it, and our pi is 3.14, and that is being multiplied to our diameter. And we know that whenever a number is being multiplied to our variable, we combine the two terms together since they are unlike. And now we will be moving into our steps when we are solving one-step equation involving multiplication. And remember that whenever we are multiplying, we are going to perform the opposite operation, which is our division, and we will be dividing both sides of our equation by our coefficient of 3.14 on both sides of our equation. On the right-hand side, our 3.14 will cancel, leaving us with just our variable d. And on the right-hand side, we're now going to have to move into our long division. Now, one thing we need to remember is whenever we're dividing decimal numbers, we need to make sure that our divisor, which is our 3.14, is converted into a whole number. And to do that, I am going to be multiplying that number by 100. Because I know that when multiplying this number by 100, my decimal point is going to move two places to the right. And I needed to move two places to the right because I need the decimal point to be behind the last digit in this number, which is 4. So when moving my decimal point to 3.14 and 3.14 to two places behind my numbers, that means that our number now becomes 314. And with division, you must remember that if I move the decimal point two places to the right in this number, I must also do the same thing to my dividend as well. So I'm going to take my 109 and 90 hundredths, and that would also be multiplied to 100. Because just like every equation, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the next side. So in fractions, it's the same thing. Whatever I did to the top, I have to do to the bottom. So if I multiply the top by 100, I have to do the exact same to the denominator to make sure that I keep that balance in my division. So I'm going to move in two places to the right, just like I did with my 3.14, and this number will now become 10,990. So we are dividing 314 into 10,990. And I know just in reading that number alone, that is a mouthful. So we're going to go through our division, and step by step, we are going to be including our zeros where they should be included. We're not leaving any numbers out. So 314, when it divides, cannot divide into 1, so that's going to be our 0. Remember that we write those zeros in as our placeholders. We do not leave them out. That is what helps us with lining up our numbers correctly. So 314 can divide into 10. So again, we're going to write in that 0 as our placeholder. Now we have 314 dividing into 109 because we're now the third digit. And again, too small, so we're adding in our 0. So we're now dividing 314 into 1,099 because we are at the fourth digit now. And in dividing into this number, remember we need to get as close as we can to our 1099 without going over. That's the important thing to remember in your division. You get as close as you can to the number without going over that number. So let's look at 314. And I think about this number, we know that 3 times 3 is going to give us 9. So I'm roughly estimating my numbers right now. So I'm looking at 900. So I'm going to begin by just seeing how close 3 will get me to this number. So we have 3 times 4, which would give us 12. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 will give us 4. And 3 times 3 is 9. So this is with using 3. Now we're looking at 314. If I add another 314 to this number, how close is this going to give me? And this 314 here, this would be my multiplication by 4 because this is going to be the fourth 314 that I'm adding. So when adding this number to what I already have, this is going to give me 1256, which is larger than the number that I'm dividing in. So I would have to stick with my answer that I got from multiplying by 3, which would be 942. And now we're going to perform our subtraction. So 9 minus 2 will give us 7. 9 minus 4 will give us 5. And of course, when 10 subtracts 9, we have a difference of 1. So we're now going to bring down our next zero, changing this into 1,570. And so we are working with 1,256 at 4, and we know that if I was to add 314 to this number, we're looking to see if we can probably just squeeze in another one so that we can break this number down a little bit. And again, this is our multiplication by 5. So this would be 10. This will give us 7. And then we have 3 plus 2 is 5, and we'll bring down the 1. And we see that at 5, this is going to give us 1,570. And our number will cancel out completely. So we see that our diameter for this question is going to be 35 inches for our diameter. And remember that division with large numbers is not always easy. Do the working that you need to do to get your division done. It's not always easy, but there are steps to help you through it. And as always, when you're ready to learn more about the circumference, make sure that you return back to Jules Math Tools, where our aim is to make math easy.